Alright, here it is, the gaming shootout between the two most powerful creator laptops, especially in the Windows world. It's a bit hard to compare them to the Macs, but anyway, the most powerful creator laptops specifically for creators. Okay, these are not gaming laptops disguised as creator laptops, these are made for creators. This is the MSI Z16 Creator. This is the Aero 16. So this is Gigabyte Aero 16 Creator laptop as well. Now, some differences between the displays. They're both at maximum brightness. We have a 165 Hz display and this one is 1600p. This is 4K OLED. So you'll see a bit of difference there between the two displays, OLED versus LED. They're both cracking displays, 165 Hz versus 60 Hz. That's just how it is. Pick your poison, whatever you want to go for. I guess for gaming, you probably want the 165 Hz unless you're like an adventure gamer. Maybe you just want 60 Hz 4K. So you're probably going to hear some fan noise. And I've got to tell you, you're not going to pick between these in terms of fan noise. Like they're both loud in their performance mode. As you can see here, I've got cooler boost on. And this is MSI sort of set up here. So I have it in high performance mode. Got cooler boost on. And with this one here, the Gigabyte, we do have it in turbo mode, okay? Not gaming mode, turbo mode, and both fans are at their sort of maximum settings here. We're gonna do Shadow of the Tomb Raider at exactly the same settings on both. What's ironic about this being the i9, this actually i7 beats this i9 in Cinebench, so that is what it is. It's all determined by wattage really, okay? So how much watts the CPU can get is pretty much how it's gonna perform. And this one can do a bit more watts CPU only runs than this. So very close, 17,000, like high 17s versus sort of 18,000. So very close CPU wise. Now this one here has a 12700H 3070 Ti, so it's not exactly fair comparison. This one has a 12900 HK and a 3080 Ti. So this is like 105 watts versus 90 watt 3070 Ti. So 3080 versus 3070. It's not a fair comparison. You can get this spec'd up with 3080 Ti and a 12900H. So yeah, it is what it is. Of course, this is going to win. It should win, right? But interestingly, when you hit CPU and GPU together, they both put out 120 watts. That's the sort of total package here. So anyway, let's just get into it. Let's see the differences in sort of like thermals and power output, like what wattage each of them are doing. Yeah, it's going to give you a good idea, you know, should you upgrade to the i9 and 3080 Ti. Remember, you know, the performance with this, with the 3080 Ti and 12900H should be the same as this or very similar, but you're going to see the difference between a 3070 Ti and a 3080 Ti. So let's just do it. Now you might see the FPS there. This is a different run. I've changed the settings, but they're both the same. 1600p, okay. We have it at the highest settings. And the only difference here is this has VSync on because it will stick at 60 Hz if you turn VSync off. I don't know why that is, but that's just how it is. So highest settings, 1600p, and they are both exactly the same settings there. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see the wattage output and the difference between a 3070 Ti and a 3080 Ti, and considering that both had the same sort of, you know, wattage package of 120 watts CPU and GPU. Let's see what happens now. Let's run this benchmark and see what happens here. We'll see which one loads quicker. Both the displays are amazing. I guess if I was more of a gamer, I'd like the 165 Hz, and yeah, if you want, you know, 4K OLED, WARF, both nice. So there you can see, what do we have, 5-10 frames per second sort of difference there. You can see here we're pushing 90 watts on the GPU. This one here we're pushing how many watts? 100 watts on the GPU. So not the 105, but 100 watts versus 90 watts. And CPU, we're getting a bit better frequency there, 3.5 versus 2.7. And we got, what have we got, 20 watts versus 28 watts. And if you can see there, it's more wattage. There, 30 watts versus 25 watts. The frame rate difference, let's wait until it loads there. We're getting, what, 78, 80, it doesn't seem to be too much difference there. Highest setting, 1600p, just a reminder there. 17 watts on the CPU, 27 watts on the CPU versus 90 watts on the GPU, 97 watts. Now temperatures, let's have a look at the temperatures. Temperatures 58 degrees, 60 degrees. Okay, now this doesn't have a GPU temperature, it wouldn't show me. Also, look at that, 30.5, 12.3 milliseconds versus 11.4. So this one has lower millisecond response time, frame time should I say. So this has lower latency for the frame time, having a 3080 Ti versus this one here. So that is the frame time there. You'll notice that this is a bit faster with the frame times. So the difference there in terms of, you know, performance looks like about that sort of 10 FPS mark there. Temperatures very much the same, 65 degrees versus 61 or 64 on the GPU. Have no idea how hot that GPU is there, but I wouldn't imagine it would be much more than the CPU. And as you can see there, still putting 90 watts into the GPU, 100 watts into the GPU. You're not getting 105 watts there, so that's just one thing to note. And we're getting about the same amount of CPU wattage there. A little bit more on the Aero over here. So yeah, they both look lush, these displays. Both got great performance. Of course, they are loud because they're in the performance mode. If you really want me, I can put them both in silent and do this test again. But it's a good idea to see 3080 Ti versus 3070 Ti. What should I get? These are both amazing creator laptops. These are the most powerful ones going around. And yeah, you know, pick your poison. 165 Hertz, OLED, what do you want? You know, what spec do you want? 3070 Ti, 3080 Ti. Yeah. It's pretty good. The temperatures are well controlled on both of them, really, aren't they? Really good there. So let's have a look at the numbers here. All right, so there we go. 78 frames versus 86. Okay, 8 frames difference. 8 frames difference. 8 frames per second difference. Are you going to notice 8 frames from 78 to 86? I don't think so. I don't think you're going to notice that, to be perfectly honest, in the gaming sense. One thing to notice, if you have a look at the graph there, the CPU and GPU very close together. Here there's a bit of separation. Other than that, the graph dips look the same, just the closeness of the CPU there and the GPU is closer. I don't know why there's a bigger gap there. I'm not sure. Or just maybe a wattage gap there. But yeah, you can see the rendered frames down the bottom as well. Really, do you need a 3080 Ti? Maybe if you need the 16 gigs RAM, maybe go for it. Do you need an i9? Like seriously? I don't know. I'll be happy with 3070 Ti, to be perfectly frank. And 12700, if we're talking just for gaming, is 8 FPS really that important to you? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.